Hello and welcome back to my channel and another Sims 4 speed build. I am Cozy SimEspy, and if you're new to my channel, I make a lot of cozy inspired builds on The Sims 4, as well as going over just cozy games, cozy reading, just cozy vibes in general is what my channel is all about. So today, this Sims 4 speed build is about creating a cute little cozy I would say organic, like that modern, organic, cozy feel. A lot of warm tones, earth tones, just a warm overall feeling. So this cottage is set in the cottage living expansion pack, of course, because what else would I do? Henneford on Bagley is what we are building in. I'm using a lot of custom content from the organic content pack from the House of Harlech's collaboration, which, if you don't know, is a collab between Hey Harry and Felix, who are really great custom content creators for The Sims 4. So down below, I will link the content that I'm using here today. And like I said, it is a lot of items from their organic pack, which comes in two parts. There's part 1 and part 2. So I will link those below. I downloaded mine off of curseforge.com. But I know they have their own websites, and so there's different locations you can download it from. But I will link the location where I downloaded mine from, so you can use it for your own builds and stuff. And what I really like about that custom content pack, pretty much I've downloaded a lot of Hey Harry's custom content because I think she might be my favorite custom content creator. I really love the stuff that she makes, and in her collabs with the House of Harlech's, I really enjoy. I've downloaded pretty much everything. But what I really like is that a lot of it is kind of that warm, organic feeling, which I really like for my builds. Because as I said earlier, a lot of my builds are cozy builds. So they're nothing too grand. Like, I don't build any mansions or anything like that. My builds tend to be a little bit smaller. Again, like cozier vibes, that's what I'm going for in general. So my builds tend not to be anything too extravagant, and that's what I like about her custom content is that it just fits the overall vibes that I'm going for. For example, this cottage that I'm working on right now, it's a cozy cottage. If you ever seen the movie The Holiday, I know we're just past the Christmas season, but kind of the feel of that. Just not Christmassy. This is an everyday cottage. So that's the overall feelings. And I mean, in real life, I really like the warm earth tone. So that's what I wanted to bring a lot of that in to this build. And of course, you can't have like an English countryside cottage without a lot of greenery. So I added a lot of greenery throughout the house. Sometimes I struggle with landscaping. It can be a little bit difficult spot with building for me, but I feel like I actually really like how it turned out. Like the trellises for the vines going up, lots of flowers. It feels very English to me. As somebody who has never been to England, but I would love to go. Fingers crossed one day. So working on the outside, I made sure to add a lot of greenery. I added this stone fence around it. I did end up making the house smaller. As I was building, it just felt a little bit too big. And again, we were going for cozy, so I ended up downsizing the house, which I think was a good move because I liked it just being a little bit smaller. Even though it makes the rooms a little bit smaller, to me that feels just more realistic for, this really old house. And with a lot of the kind of older builds in England, I see a lot of, I'm not sure if they're actually extensions or not, but a part of the house that has those big wide open windows that give it a little bit of that more modern feeling. So I wanted to add that to the build, and I knew that's where I was going to put the kitchen. That will, it will open up to the fenced in side of the house. So I knew I wanted to do that. And then once I figured out the layout was a little bit tricky just because it is, like I said, a bit smaller space. So sometimes the layout can be a little bit tricky when you're not making some big house, something smaller because you want to fit all your spaces in there. I knew I wanted a kitchen and a dining room and a living room space. I knew I wanted to have multiple bedrooms, not just one, and multiple bathrooms as well. So, working with the layout can be a little bit tricky, but I actually liked how the layout worked. It's a little bit funky in some spots, but in general, I think it actually turned out to be functional. Um, and one thing I do with my builds, which I'm not sure because I know everybody builds a little bit differently, but what I really like to do is before I start actually like decorating or anything, in every single room, I'll do the flooring and the walls first. So even though, I'm not going to get to the upstairs for sometimes, I give every room flooring and the walls done because I think it just feels, I don't know, makes the process go smoother for me. That's the best way I can describe it. So kind of going, making sure I had the right mindset. I kept repeating it to myself: organic, modern, warm, and cozy. That's what I'm going for. So I think all my walls here, I used from the organic custom content pack. If they're not all from there, most of them are. I think maybe not a few of them. A few rooms, I did do the wallpaper that came I can't remember if that one came with Cottage Living or it might have come with the Maximalist pack, but either way. In the first room I always like to do, if not the kitchen, sometimes I'll do the kitchen first, but if not the kitchen, I like to do the living room first. So that's what I did here. I think, again, like I said, my goal with this house was to use most of custom content from the organic pack just because that was fitting the vibe I was going for. So that's what I try to use for most of the living room, again, in the house in general. I did have to change the layout of the living room a little bit. It was being a little bit funky for me, especially as I was trying to figure out the couch. Because I knew, I was like, I have to have a sectional. I feel like a sectional is cozy. Like being able to lay out and big enough for multiple people, a great use of a small space. So I did change layout just a little bit so I could make the couch fit how I wanted it to. I loved, so one of my favorite things that I use the most from this organic pack are these curtains for the windows. They're like a lifesaver. I use them all the time. I use them in every room in this house with windows, besides the kitchen because those are, really big windows. I love these window curtains. To me, that's the one item that convinced me to download this pack. And this fireplace too, to be honest. I love this fireplace. I also wanted, you'll notice, no TV. Because one thing I do when I'm building, especially in the living room, because I feel like it's very much with real life, you build and decorate the living room around the TV. And sometimes I feel like it kind of holds you a little bit aback design wise. So, no TV in this house. These people do not watch TV, which would be nice in real life. But in this house, no TV. And I actually like that it's a little bit smaller. Um, you have your couch, you have your fireplace, and you have a small bookcase. That's what we have in this room. There's no piano or, like chess table or anything. It's smaller. So it works. I really liked how it turned out. Um, and it really gave me a good vibe for what I wanted to do for the rest of the house. I knew, like, going into the dining room, I did a lot of like oranges and a little bit of yellows as the highlight colors, or accent colors I should say, for the living room. So in the dining room I wanted my accent colors to be kind of like that sagey green that I really like. So that's what I did with the dining room going into there, keeping it cozy. One of my favorite items by far is and I believe it comes with the organic pack, this little bowl of lemons. To me, it's the cutest thing in the world. In real life, I love lemons. If you know me in real life, I love lemons. I have lemons in my kitchen. I love to paint lemons. My little pop socket on my phone has lemons on it. So this little bowl of lemons is like my favorite thing in the world. And now I use it in like all my builds, whether it's in the kitchen or the dining room. In this pack, I also included them in the outside seating area. But I think there's an option that makes them green so they look like lime. So I think I did that for outside. So this dining room, I really loved it's again those neutral organics, nothing crazy, but it feels warm and cozy, like you would have a small group of friends over. Which again in real life is what I like to do when I have people over. I don't like having like a million people in my house. I like small groups of people. So this feels like, you can have a small dinner party in this nice cozy dining room, and it's perfect. And I added a little bit of pattern in with the window curtains, that same ones I used in the living room, just a little bit different here with a different pattern. Again, I love those curtains. They're my favorite ones. And then I kind of, carrying on the warm tones into the kitchen, but with the kitchen colors, the colors that I would be using instead of, living room, I feel like was more neutral with some accent colors of the burnt orange and yellow. And then into living room, it was the sage green. In the kitchen, I wanted more of that kind of terracotta, burnt orangey color, which I'm really thrilled because as we head into the year of 2023, which is still seems like a hard concept for me to grasp, but if you follow, like, if you're somebody who followed Trends Report or things like that, Pinteresty stuff, home design, things like that, one of the big predictions for 2023 is one of the most popular colors will be burnt orange. And burnt orange is one of my favorite colors. My big wall in my living room where my fireplace is on, when we bought our current house, I told my husband that wall is going to be orange. So it's this nice burnt orangey kind of terracotta color. Terracotta, that's not a word, but you know what I mean. That warm orange color. That's that wall. That's kind of what I wanted to do in this kitchen, but just a little bit lighter, more of that clay orange, more of that terracotta. So I'm really excited that orange is supposed to be this big, popular, trendy color in 2023. Because I'm like, perfect. I'm already there. Like I already have it in my house. It's one of my favorite colors. It's such a warm and cozy color. So I'm really excited to have more of it in my speed builds. You'll see, hopefully, hopefully my goal is to post at least like one video a week. We'll see if I can do it. We'll see how organized I can be. But I do want to do a lot more of those warm, cozy earth tones throughout this year, including like the orange colors that are supposed to be really popular. So, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed I'll be able to post weekly. So what I really loved about doing the kitchen is the big windows. Again, that to me, it incorporated more of that modern feel in that I was trying to do, because even though this is supposed to be cozy English cottage village, I want that little bit modern touch in there. So that's why I really love these huge windows, lots of natural light, still cozy though, lots of natural light, but still really cozy. And then it will open up into a little outdoor entertaining space, which is the last thing I do on this speed build, is the outdoor space. So I wanted it to just feel like, even though it's a smaller space, like breezy, like you would have those doors opened on, a spring or summer day. So that was my goal with the kitchen. I really like how it turned out, even though it was a little difficult with the counter space, because I wasn't going to put any counters like against the open windows, because that wouldn't really make sense. So I didn't have much counter space to work with, but with the kitchen island and stuff, I think it actually turned out really well. And then the last thing really that I needed to do on the first floor was just a little bit of an awkward shaped half bath. Just because with the half bath on the first floor, which when I'm building, if I'm doing anything that is 2 floors, I will always put a half bath on the first floor. So my first floors, I always just, whatever shape I have available left on the first floor, that's the shape of the half bath. That's what it's going to be, because I'm working with what I got. So half bath is a little bit awkward shape, but whatever works. And then, last thing on the first floor, I believe, is the entryway. When you walk into the house, you want it to set the tone for the house. So again, when we're doing neutral yet warm colors, you have to add clutter. Clutter is what brings everything together. So I really liked, The Sims came out not too long ago with a kit. It was like a clutter kit, which I think they desperately need it because again, the clutter is what's going to bring everything together in a build. That's what it makes it feel lived in. So I actually really enjoy the clutter kit that The Sims 4 came out with not too long ago. And then I feel like custom content is the best place to download clutter. Like, so I have a lot, again, obviously with the organic pack, but and I can't remember if it's just the Hey Harry pack or if it was the collab, the House of Harlocks pack. That's a kitchen. I want to say it was part of their collab of Harry and Felix's collab for kitchen stuff. And I used some of it in the living room actually, like the wine and stuff. A lot of the kitchen clutter with custom content, specifically their custom content. So good, so good. And as somebody who personally loves, spends a lot of time in the kitchen, I love it. So, like I was saying before, clutter is what really makes, I feel like, a build come together. So, working upstairs, same thing with downstairs. One thing, a goal I wanted for this build and trying to give it that cozy vibe was not to use so much overhead lighting. Sometimes I could be really bad with building. Right before I start decorating, I put the floors down, I put the wallpapers down, and then I put that little small, that little small disc overhead light that really makes the room bright. I would just put that light everywhere because it's such a popular light. However, trying to make things cozier, and same thing I do in real life with my room, which is where I'm sitting now, like recording the audio for this. I don't have my overhead light on. I have my 3 lamps on and my fairy lights on because even though it's dimmer, that dimmer lighting, warm lighting is what makes it cozier. So I was like, with this build, I'm not going to do so much overhead lighting. I'm going to try to do a lot more lamps and a lot more like sconces or candles, things like that, instead of such bright overhead light, especially in the bedroom because I feel like, that's supposed to be such a cozy space, like a blanket, a giant blanket, but make it a room. So, sorry, I needed a sip of water um, as I'm recording. With the bedroom, again, it's supposed to feel like you wrap yourself up in a blanket, you get in bed, dim lighting on, you read a book. Again, those warm colors, kind of bringing the same colors in from the kitchen, that warm kind of terracotta burnt orange, using it with the bedding, with that blanket and stuff. I used it there. And I don't think I use any overhead lighting in this room because I wanted to have that cozier space. And all these rooms in this build are smaller. Again, because I feel like I feel like that's more realistic if you're talking about this old English cottage. So because these rooms are all really small, about maximizing the space, not using anything, you know too crazy in the room. It's not like it's anything too luxurious, if you will. It's more humble, it's cozy, um, things like that. So going into the bathroom here, when I do my bathrooms, usually I'll make one like a master bath or whatever. Whatever bathroom I make into a master bath, it has to be big enough to have a shower and a bathtub. Because to me, that's what makes a master bath like a master bath. Because sometimes you want to take a shower, most of the time, but you have the days where you just want to soak in the tub with like candles and a glass of wine. So to me, a master bath, I always connect it off the master bathroom or master bedroom, obviously, but I always try to find room to give it a shower and a bathtub because to me, even though this is such a small bathroom that I built in this house, that's what's going to make it, luxurious, if you will. I like to also, with my builds, um, I like to make sure I don't often do like a one bedroom build, I don't think. I could be lying. You could go onto my gallery right now and probably find like 10 different starter homes with one bedrooms. But more recently, I should say, I like making sure I do at least three bedrooms in a house. And again, these bedrooms are small because, just the nature of the house. So we have like a tiny teenager bedroom and a tiny kid bedroom. The teenager one I really enjoy doing just because I feel like you get to be really creative with it and kind of make it a little bit like it doesn't have to be so cohesive because it's a teenager bedroom where things are kind of, they have random things on the walls and lots of clutter and, fun things like that I really enjoy. So even though the bedrooms, the teenage bedroom here is small and the kids' bedroom is even smaller, I really enjoy doing those rooms always just because I feel like they're just a lot of fun to do. And what I really like with the high school expansion pack, even though I don't do a ton with the gameplay because I don't I don't focus too much on teenagers in the game unless if I'm doing a legacy game and I pick which kid I'm going to focus on next. So I don't do too much with the high school expansion pack gameplay, but I love the build buy items. Again, because it makes building a teenager's room and decorating it so much fun. Because of the items they have on there. Like in the teenager room, I used some of the wall art, the decor on their walls that we got in that expansion pack, and I really really love it because of course obviously with the high school expansion pack it's good for a teenage room, but it's just different than what I feel like we've gotten a lot of in the Sims 4. So I really love using those pieces to just make it truly feel like what a teenager's room would be like in real life. So even though the teenager's room is super tiny, it was one of my favorite rooms to do. And then the kids' bedroom as well. Super tiny, like the smallest room in the house. This poor kid. I think it's about the same size as their bathroom. But even though it's super tiny, try to make it a little bit whimsical. I pictured, I picture the family for this build. It can be either a single parent or, a married couple, and then not two teenage daughters, one teenage daughter, and then one a younger daughter, a kid daughter. That sounds weird. But oh, excuse me. Hold on. I need more water. But when building with such small rooms and trying to maximize the space, one of my favorite items that came with the Cottage living pack is the mirror dresser combo. I use it a lot, just because it's a great way to save space because, which tiny rooms I can't always put a dresser in a mirror, so that dresser mirror combo is a lifesaver. And then we did a half bath downstairs. I did two baths upstairs. Obviously, one's the master bath connected off the master bedroom, and then a bathroom for the kids as well. Again, super quick, but what I really loved was the color of the walls. Again, that terracotta color that makes it feel just warm, um, warm and cozy. Again, I know I've said warm and cozy and organic a million times, but that is the vibes for this house. So I really liked how everything indoors turned out. And then the last thing I did was an outdoor space that I really enjoyed just because it opens right up into the kitchen. So just like picturing it on a warm sunny day, you have that door open. We have the grill, the outdoor dining area, the outdoor seating area, and then as well I put outside some gardening beds as well as the chicken coop. Now, will the chickens end up going in the house? Yes, but that's what makes it more fun. Will they actually go in the house inside the game? I don't know. That actually would be, I might actually have to play with this house just to see that. But I just love the idea of walking straight outdoors from the kitchen, and you go to the garden and you have your chickens. You can have your chickens running around the little stone area. I thought, like, isn't that just the perfect life? At least that's how I would picture my perfect life on the English countryside with chickens and gardening and your perfect little outdoor space. So I was really thinking of like the summer and spring when doing this outdoor entertaining space, because it's like a dream space. This is like a dream house for me. It's, small, but it's not too small. You could have a small family out here, and I think it's really great. So I really love how this entire house turned out. It was the exact vibe I was going for. The, earth tones, warm tones. It's organic, but has that slight modern feel. And it's cozy. It's where you could go spend your life gardening, reading books, writing. This would be a great house for like a writer or a painter, or obviously, a florist or a gardener. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this build. Like I said, I'm going to link the custom content below so you can download and use it for yourself. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this build as much as I do. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help, and I, love your support. And be sure to also follow on Instagram and TikTok at Cozy SimEspy. So thank you very much.